Hello, everyone. This is Carla with NeedyMeds. Thanks so much for joining us for a special topic webinar. Before we get started in just a moment, I'm going to ask everybody to help me out with an audio visual check. If you can hear me clearly, and if you can see my screen, which is the first slide of a PowerPoint presentation, I'd appreciate it if you would send me a message in that question section of your GoToWebinar control panel. And I'm also going to ask our guest panelist, Ram, to give us a shout out as well to make sure that we can hear him.
Hi there.
Fantastic. It looks like we can hear our guest panelist, Ram, as well as our audience, that you guys can see my screen and hear us clearly, which is great. So with that, we're going to kick it off. So once again, thank you so much to everybody for joining today's special topic webinar, NeedyMeds Storylines, the free app to track your health. My name is Carla. I am the Director of Education and Partnerships at NeedyMeds. And right before we begin the presentation, I just want to go over a few points. You can type any questions you may have into the questions section of your GoToWebinar control panel. Just know we will reserve answering questions until the end. One disclaimer, our guest Ram, who I will introduce momentarily, is not a health expert. He is an expert in the NeedyMeds Storylines app. So we ask that you keep that in mind as you ask your questions. Anyway, if we do not have the time to answer your question, we will follow up with you personally via email. Also, of course, I would provide the contact information so that you can get in touch with us for any questions after the webinar. This webinar is being recorded and will be available for viewing on our YouTube channel, and you can find a copy of our PowerPoint slide decks in your handout section of your control panel. So let's get started with what is NeedyMeds. What you are looking at is our mission statement, our vision statement, and how we achieve our mission. But simply put, NeedyMeds connects people to programs that will help them afford their healthcare expenses. And we do this free and anonymously through our website, needymeds.org, and our helpline, 1-800-503-6897. I always like to put up a screenshot of our homepage because our website really is the face of our organization, and it gives me a chance to point out a few resources. If you are interested in healthcare cost savings resources, check out the Patient Savings tab. To stay up to date on what's new at NeedyMeds, check out the Advocates tab. This is where you can sign up to receive webinar announcements, sign up for a monthly newsletter, and order educational materials. I mentioned this webinar is being recorded. You will be able to find it on our YouTube channel, which is at the top right of our website with the other social media icons. And you could check out other upcoming webinars and register for them on the calendar events on the bottom right side of our homepage. And as you saw, a big part of our mission is empowering people when it comes to their health journey. And one of the most popular ways we do that is with the free NeedyMeds app Storylines. NeedyMeds Storylines is a self-care app that helps you take control of your health. NeedyMeds Storylines can act as your medication reminder, symptom and vitals tracker, pain rating scale, and so much more. With this presentation, you will learn all about this app, including the features it has and how it can benefit you. And walking through all of this will be the NeedyMeds Storylines app expert, Ram Soyao. Ram graduated from Sheridan College with his Bachelor's of Film and Television. He continues to pursue his passion for humanizing, down-to-earth storytelling within the lives of everyday people and their personal journeys. Ram uses his education, experience, and insights to develop technological solutions that empower patients. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic and the screen to Ram, so bear with us while we do that. And as Ram takes over the screen, I will remind everybody that you can ask any questions you may have, again, by typing them into that questions section of your control panel. And with that, I'll pass it to Ram. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carla, for the very, very warm welcome and introduction. Thank you for tuning into the webinar and for having me. I'm so excited to share what we've come up with in terms of our NeedyMeds Storylines app, some new updates, some new features, things you can do, and let's get started. So I'm from the company Self-Care Catalysts, which co-developed the NeedyMeds Storylines app with NeedyMeds Storylines. Sorry, with NeedyMeds. So today's agenda would be to introduce Self-Care Catalysts and the things that we do and our values and the things that we believe and why, and basically why we do the things that we do. After that, we will be demoing the NeedyMeds Storylines app. I'll be showing that to you from my phone. I will show you how to download it, sign up, maybe some top tools that you could use. And then after that, we have some time reserved for questions. So Self-Care Catalyst is a patient solutions, intelligence, and analytics company driving value from patient-centered real-world evidence to inform personalized care, behavior change intervention, population health, drug discovery, and commercialization. There are three things that we believe firmly here at Self-Care Catalyst, one of them being that patients will build and own their health data. Today, patients are starting to amass their own health information treasury due to a proliferation of wearable devices and growing interest in understanding who they really are, especially when they're sick. We believe that patients will become more active participants in their case. The practice of medicine has unfortunately relegated the patients to recipients of care. However, as patients gain access to more health and treatment information, they're being equipped to become real advocates of their own health. Lastly, we believe that patients will drive the future of health innovation. The creation of patient-generated health behavior information will spell the difference between solutions created inside the clinical setting and those where patients took an active role in designing the intervention. The empowered patient will provide a more holistic platform to deliver true personalized health care. So something that we've noticed here at Self-Care Catalysts is that your doctor only sees a fraction of what's really going on. How you were feeling the past few days, your symptoms that you remember when you were feeling them, the meals that you remember, the moods, the thoughts, daily life routines, everything that happens in between the doctor's visit and when you come home. It's your job to fill in the rest of the story. So NeedyMeds Storylines is created by a passionate team of self-care advocates who believe that the key to healthcare innovation is to hear the voice of the patient. We are collaborative. Even though we are experts, we believe that none of us is as smart as all of us. We are passionate. Our passion drives us to prove to the world that hard things can be done. And we are connectors. We incite our users to empower themselves, to improve their lives by integrating our apps. It's why we love sharing what we know. We believe that the greatest source of innovation in healthcare could be you. So we have three main pillars here at Self-Care Catalysts, and they are doing, learning, and sharing. So by doing, it's breaking down care plans and interventions into smaller, simple, personalized tools. Patients and caregivers are often handed a complex list of care plans once they leave the clinical and hospital setting. But without medical guidance and support, adherence to interventions, treatments, follow-up diagnostics, and monitoring become difficult for patients and caregivers. NeedyMeds Storylines enables patients and caregivers to personalize and customize the plan through health behavior tools that become healthy habits. We learn. Informed patients make better decisions. As patients and caregivers use a range of tools like the journal tracker, the appointment calendar, symptom tracker, and mood tracker, some of the tools that I will be showing you in the demo, they learn more about themselves and how their illness impacts their lives. NeedyMeds Storylines enables patients and caregivers to learn, understand, and gain insights about their health conditions. And last but not least, we share. Shared knowledge powers better care and outcomes. Patients and caregivers are empowered to share their health data with their physicians, peers, caregivers, researchers to inform decisions that will improve care and outcomes. NeedyMeds Storylines enables patients to build their own communities to learn from each other. It enables patients and caregivers to personalize and customize the plan through health behavior tools that eventually become healthy habits. So without further ado, I'm going to walk you through the NeedyMeds Storylines app. If you already have the NeedyMeds Storylines app on your phone, please feel free to update the latest version. You could do this via the App Store or the Google Play Store. If you don't have a version of NeedyMeds Storylines app, it's in the same place, the App Store or the Google Play Store. You could find it there, and it's completely free. So we're going to start off by signing up. All we need from you is your first name, the year that you were born, and your gender, and you'll be prompted to create a password on sign up. I already created an account before this, so I'm actually going to sign into that when I'm demoing this to you. So as you log in here at the bottom, I'm just going to sign up or log in. And here we go. One point that I would like to reiterate is that I am not a health expert, just an expert on the NeedyMeds Storylines app. So the first thing we see here on our screen is the home page. This is where you can find all of the tools that you need, as well as all of the features that you will eventually be using when tracking your health. I'm going to take you through some of the main tools that you'll be using, as well as how to customize your own profile, how to work the home page, how to add and remove tools. So we're going to start with a medication tracker today. So we're going to select the tool, and here you can add medications. I'm going to add a medication and add Adderall. Here I can also set reminders for myself. Frequency, daily, and I'm going to remind myself once a day at 9 a.m. We click next on the top right, and we can add any extra notes for our future selves, like, hey, don't forget to click finish as well. And a confirmation screen should pop up. And there we go, we added our first medication. It's also possible to add multiple medications because we know that sometimes you need more than one. So here I can add lisinopril once a day. And if I want to take it at a different time, let's say 2 p.m., we can do that as well. We click next, add any extra notes, and click finish. Now, if we go back to our home screen, the medications that we added should be there. And here we could prompt the app if we took them, if we missed them, or we can schedule it to remind us again. So Adderall, I have taken, and lisinopril, let's say we missed it today. And here we have a prompt asking why we missed this medication, and let's say today that I just forgot, because it happens. So there we go. We used our first tool. We added our first medications, set our first reminders, and tracked it as well. Something I'd like to point out up here with this large 2 you see is the daily health check-ins. Basically, it's a health summary of things that you need to do on the app, medications you need to track, tools that you need to use, symptoms that you need to be reminded of. It's a summary of your health, just so you remember to do everything. So you can close that. The next thing we'll do is use the symptom tracker over here. It functions much like the medication tracker, where we can add our own symptoms from a preset group, or we could create our own custom ones. So today, I had a headache, and I could take the note, not super bad today. Don't forget to click finish on the top right here. And we added our first symptom. Let's try one more in fatigue. And we could finish with that. Now we have 2 symptoms that we can track, and I'll show you how that looks on the home screen. So if you open up your symptom tracker, there should be the symptoms that we added, fatigue and headache, as well as the impact of symptoms on our day. So the fatigue and headache sliders resemble the severity of your symptoms, and you could slide that however you'd like. So today, fatigue wasn't too bad, and the headache was nothing at all. So I believe that the symptoms that I experienced today were not very impactful on my day. The next tool we'll be using is a daily moods tracker. Right here, if we open the tool, it's very simple. We can select how we're feeling today. Are we feeling negatively? Are we feeling neutral? Are we feeling positive? And let's say today we're feeling positive. We click the happy face, and we receive a prompt with some moods that we could track as well. So today we're excited. Here we could track some notes. Having a great demo. We could save that as well. If you'd like to track more than one mood, you can refresh your screen and go back into daily moods and track something else if you do feel differently. So at the bottom here, we can add and remove tools. So if we remove tools and we remove, let's say, this health routine builder, don't worry, we'll be adding it back shortly. We can delete that off our screen and it will be gone. Similarly, when we select add, it will take us to the tool library where we can search through some categories of tools, or if we know what the tool name is, like the health routine builder, we can use the search tool function to look for that and re-add it. So up here, search tool, and we're typing in health routine builder. And we're just going to re-add that back to our home screen. And there it is. We're going to build our own routines today by adding routine, saying we should go to the gym. And I could also remind myself X amount of times during the day, and I can select what time that would happen. I can take extra notes, have fun, and we can select finish. if we go back to the home screen and select a tool, we can complete it, or we could say that we missed it. But today, I completed exercising today. And there we go. One thing I'd also like to point out is the drug discount card from NeedyMeds. It is a tool that you will receive when signing up. You don't have to add it. It will be on your home screen. And if we click into that, your drug discount card information should already be there. And you could take this wherever you go. While you're tracking your symptoms, you're tracking your moods, you can also pull out your drug discount card. So now you're asking, well, look at all this wonderful information I've tracked. I track my medications, I track my moods, I track my symptoms. Where can I see all this information? So at the bottom bar, to the left of the turquoise home button, there is a graph. And we're going to click into that, and we're going to see our storylines. So basically, this is the data that we've tracked today. You could see that the Adderall that I've taken and the lisinopril that I've missed, and the moods that I've tracked, as well as the symptoms. So you can see that the more that I track, the more information that I can see about myself. And we could also open and close these tiles easily so we could stay more organized. And you could see your information within a week or 2 weeks up here, or you could also see it in a month. It will be a little longer because there are 28 days, about 30 in a month, but we're going to go back to a week. One feature I'd also like to point out is the date jump feature. On the top right corner, there's a little calendar button that you can press. And you can jump back to any days that you've recorded data, like the 17th, and look back at those days. Now, if I wanted to edit some specific points or some specific days of data, I can click into any tile and go into more detailed view. So if I forgot to track it on Tuesday, I can click on Tuesday and tell myself that I took Adderall at 2:30. I can save that on the top right, and you should be able to see it in your view here as well. So we're going to go back to our home screen here. And one last feature that I'd love to point out is called the Circle of Support feature. Here we could build our communities, our healthcare communities, and we can add our friends, our family members, our nurses, our caregivers, our healthcare practitioners, just as long as they're on the app. So we're going to go here at the Circle of Support. And here I can add anyone that I'd like. And I could also create my own groups. So if I wanted to create a group of family, I could bunch them up, as well as any healthcare practitioners. Now, the Circle of Support feature is really interesting because whoever is in your group, they could see the data that you've tracked. So if your loved ones would like to check up on you, if you've taken your medication, if you've tracked your moods, how you're feeling, if there are any symptoms that they should be aware of, they can see this data from their phone, and they could also check up on you as well. The neat thing is that you can customize what different groups can see in terms of data. So you could show your family what medication you're taking and the moods that you're feeling, but you can hide the symptoms that you're feeling from them and vice versa. So that's something that you could absolutely play around with. As you can see, this app is very versatile. It's very customizable. It's very personable. with over 35 customized tools that you can add to your home screen. There's plenty of use to it into your daily life. Thank you for listening to my demo. Back to you, Carla.
Ram, thank you so much for that very thorough and easy to understand presentation. It was a really good demonstration of how much the app can do and how simple it can be to use. And I want to remind our audience that you could submit any questions you may have. I can see some coming in already into that question section of your GoToWebinar control panel. And while those questions are coming in, I want to remind you that NeedyMeds offers support for your healthcare expenses. And on your screen are the most popular and cost-effective healthcare cost savings resources, such as the NeedyMeds discount card, which Ram showed you is already preloaded into the NeedyMeds Storyline app. But again, on the screen, along with that drug discount card, are other of our most popular and cost-effective healthcare cost savings resources. And if you want to learn more about any of these resources, we hope you join us at one of our upcoming monthly overview webinars. And you can find those on the calendar of events on the bottom right hand of the NeedyMeds homepage, which I pointed out at the beginning of the webinar. So as we get to those questions, I will leave up the contact information in case you have questions about the app or if you would like to reach out to NeedyMeds. So Ram, one of the questions coming in is, can I share my tracked information with other people? And you just did go over that, but maybe you can just revisit that. Thanks.
Absolutely. So as I said before, actually, with the last feature that I showed you, with the circle of support feature, you can let other people see some of the data that you've tracked, but you could also limit them as well in terms of the data that they're seeing. So again, an example is you can let your doctor see what medication you're taking, but not the moods or symptoms that you're feeling. But your family could see the moods or symptoms that you're feeling, but you could also hide the medication that you're taking from them. So it's really up to you in terms of who you'd like to see and what information you'd like to show them.
I think that's really important, that not only can you share the information, but you can individualize the information you are sharing with everybody, which is really helpful. Another question coming in is, and again, I think this goes back to this circle of support, is there an option to take all of it? It's another question with how to share the data that you're tracking, which is there an option to take all of my tracked data and share it to my doctor?
Yes, so you can use the circle of support feature for that, but there is another feature called the My Storylines report. And this feature is very cool in a way that you can take all of the data that you've tracked and you could email it to yourself into a PDF or an Excel file. So you could do that through the date range of all time. All the medications that you've tracked, all the symptoms that you've felt, the moods that you felt as well. And you could take that report, you could print it out if you'd like, and you could absolutely share that with your doctor.
Fantastic. I can see many situations where that would be super useful. And here's a great question coming in, and I bet you've been asked this before though. What happens to my data after I track it? Who can see it?
Absolutely. So yeah, this is a question that we do get a lot, and something that I'd like to express is that Self-Care Catalyst is a huge advocate in data transparency. So the app is free, but to fund our mission to empower people in improving their self-care and that of others, we may sell the de-identified data we collect from your use of the Health Storylines app or the NeedyMeds Storylines app to recognized medical research organizations and pharmaceutical companies to help inform and amplify their own clinical research. And I said the word de-identified. So the de-identified basically means that the data that we share cannot be linked back to you. So nobody knows that you are tracking these things or it's coming from you personally. And that's just a point that I'd like to reiterate.
And that's really important. It's an important question, and again, we respect how transparent self-care catalysts about the data collection and what they're sharing and how and why. Super important. So if I didn't say this already, we do keep the question segment brief. So if you asked a question and we didn't get the chance to answer it, we will follow up with you. Or, of course, you can direct any questions you have about the app to the contact information on the screen. And don't hesitate to contact NeedyMeds if you're seeking assistance for your healthcare expenses. With that, I want to thank Ram, our NeedyMeds Storylines app expert, for walking us through it. And thanks so much to our audience for taking time out of the day to join us. And we do hope you stay in touch. Thank you.